How's it going, Vapors? Rob here, Old City Vapor, back at you again with another Weird Wednesday video. Um, this Wednesday's weird story goes back to that house that I grew up in as a kid. You know, I told you a little in the last video. I told you a little, kind of history of the house. It's over 100 years old. Blah blah blah. My dad bought it. Surprised my mom. On and on. He died there. Had a heart attack in the attic. And anyway, way before all of that, way back in time. From what I understood, it used to be like a little Indian village there. If you look at the yard on our property there, the yard kind of slopes down to the road a little bit, as well as the houses across the street. The yards there kind of slope down towards the road as well. And from what I've heard, that road used to be a creek. And apparently, right in that area, there used to be like a little Indian village of some sort. Ain't that a cool looking tank? My buddy Shane over at Fusion Vapors. Little Smoke Tech metal Pyrex tank. Steel and Pyrex. Like it. Anyway, I'm sidetracked. Sidetrack Charlie. Used to be a little Indian village there, and it was nothing for me. One day I was outside in the yard, doing what kids do, digging holes, right? Used to play in the dirt, and I'm digging in the dirt. Who knows what for? Probably trying to make something, or who knows what. Anyways, I'm digging in the yard. And I look down and I'm like, what the heck is this? And I pull up out of the dirt an arrowhead. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Took it in, showed my mom, and she was telling me kind of why I may have found an arrowhead in the yard. So I thought that was just cool. So what did I do? Back outside and I'm digging another hole. I'm looking for another arrowhead. I find a clay marble. So, it was nothing, man, for me to be digging holes in the yard. If you ever seen that movie Holes, at one point, that's kind of what our yard looked like. Yeah, that was always kind of a sore point. My mom didn't mind me digging up the yard, really, because it was nothing. If you would say, Rob, go out and find an arrowhead, I could go out, dig a hole, find something, an arrowhead, a marble, piece of pottery, something, and be back in within 10 minutes. It was like it was nothing to go out there and do that. But I learned the hard way that I should cover up the holes that I dig, because when you're out in the yard, playing, running around, and you step in a hole, kind of sucked. But anyway, it was just kind of cool that, it used to be like this little Indian village there. And apparently, there was arrowheads, there's marbles. I used to have a collection of arrowheads and marbles that it was awesome. I had tons of them. All kinds of pieces of pottery and stuff, and just never found a whole plate, that would have been cool. But I had tons of marbles, different size, and arrowheads, lots and lots of arrowheads. I still have a few somewhere, I believe. Typical, teenager. I sold them, so get some money for something. Who knows what? Probably something I didn't need, but or shouldn't have had. But yeah, I did some stupid stuff and sold a lot of that stuff a long time ago. But I think I still have a few. I got some other pretty cool things around here too. I'll have to dig up and show you someday. Anyways. Not actually dig up, because I already did that years ago. But anyway, just thought that was kind of cool that the house, the property, used to be this little Indian village. It's not very far from the Fountain of Youth. It's kind of right down the road. So if you're familiar with this area, you know where I'm talking about. So, anyways, the story. Let's get to the story. Uh, Me, my stepbrother, we're upstairs in the bedroom. We shared a room at this time. Um, why? I don't know. You know, there was, like I said, it's a 4-bedroom house. There was my mom and my stepdad, who of course had their room. Uh, then there was 3 other rooms, but we decided that we would share a room. We could each had our own room, but maybe it's like, I don't know, strength in numbers type of thing. We just felt better sharing a room. It was a pretty big room too, but so it wasn't like we were cramped in there. Um, but yeah, I think we both felt more comfortable, you know, being together than being alone, apart, or whatever. So, anyways, uh, I woke up and I'm kind of laying there, you know, and I'm thinking, man, I think I'm going to go get me some Captain Crunch this morning. My mom and dad, they'd already gone to work, just me and my stepbrother there, and a couple of dogs that we had. Um, I wake up, my stepbrother's still asleep. I'm like, hey man, let's go get something for breakfast. And he's like, you know, like, whatever. So I get up, go do my thing, go downstairs. I'm heading to the kitchen. Uh, I'm thinking this must have been a Saturday morning because we didn't have school that day. And it was probably, I don't know, about 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. 8, 9, somewhere in there. So, must have been a Saturday because, like I said, we didn't have school, and my mom and dad, they'd both gone to work. They're both off on Sundays, so I know it wasn't a Sunday. Like any of that really matters. But anyways, I'm going to the kitchen, and when you go in the kitchen had one door that you could go in. It was a pretty big kitchen. Like I said, this house was big. Um, and at the other end of the kitchen, there was this big wooden door, like a swinging wooden door, kind of like you see like in a restaurant or something, you know, with the swinging doors to the kitchen. Didn't have a door handle or anything. It was just a swinging, big wooden swinging door. And it was a full, you know, like a probably 36-inch, full 3-foot door. It's pretty good size, pretty heavy, you know. Had pretty hefty weight on it, you know, when you swing it. Anyways, that led into the dining room. In the dining room, there was a big wooden table with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 big wooden chairs around it. It had a tablecloth, big kind of lacy tablecloth hanging on it. In the back, there was a big china cabinet. Over to the left, there was another big china cabinet full of stuff. And there was a window on this wall in front of me. And over to my right, there was 2 other windows. And outside of those windows is a big, huge, like a front porch that ran the whole front of the house. Big screened in, covered front porch. Had rocking chairs out there, a couple of couches, big glass table, 4 chairs, like a breakfast area or just hanging out, you know, area at the end of the porch. And anyway, I'm in the kitchen still, and I'm kind of wondering, I'm like, where are the dogs? And I hear this kind of thump, thump noise, and I'm like, So I push the dining room door open, and I go in the kitchen. I go in the dining room from the kitchen. You know, I stick my head in there, and I don't see or hear anything, really. I'm like, whatever. Go back in the kitchen. I get my bowl of Captain Crunch, go to get some milk, and I'm like, crap, there's not a whole lot of milk left. Bummer for my brother. early bird gets the worm. Early bird gets the Captain Crunch, anyways. So, anyways, I get my cereal, go around out the kitchen. I go into the living room. I'm gonna check out, some cartoons or something, and get my crunch on. Set my bowl of cereal down. Go over, turn the TV on, and then I hear this thump, thump, thump noise again. I'm like, what the heck is that? Kind of, I have my cereal sitting there, and I go to investigate this noise to find out what it is, Walking around, I don't see anything, I'm looking at all the windows in the living room and stuff. I don't see anything. There's windows down on the porch end of the living room. Don't see anything. Kind of looked out the window, didn't see anything out on the porch. I walk over to the left, and there's these French doors on the other side of the dining room that go into the dining room. Glass French doors, kind of old, like you would expect in an old house. These old antique French doors with the crystal doorknobs on them. I open up one of those doors, and I'm looking around in the dining room. I don't see anything. Don't hear anything. Just think, what the heck? I go to shut the door, and I hear thump, thump, thump. What the hell? And then I figured it was one of the dogs. And we had hardwood floors in the whole, all downstairs there, and figured it was one of the dogs in the dining room. Got stuck in the dining room, and saw me, and it's wagging its tail. I'm calling the dog, no dog, and then I'm like, the stupid dog is in one of the chairs, that's pushed under the table. It's up in one of the chairs, probably, been sleeping or laying there or whatever, and figured it's the dog, wagging its tail, hitting this wooden chair. So I'm calling the dog, and no dog coming out from under the table. So I'm like, dadgummit, get on my hands and knees, and I'm looking under the, lift the tablecloth up, and I'm looking under the table, and now's when you expect that, to come out from under. No, that didn't happen. As I'm looking under the table, at all the chairs, and there's no dog. I'm thinking, what the heck? And I still hear this thump, 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 thump noise. So I'm kind of baffled, and then I'm still on my hands and knees. I look over at the window, and we had these shades in the window, the ones that you pull down, had these kind of light, wispy, kind of see-through curtains or whatever on the windows, real light fabric, but we had these window shades that rolled down. If any of you are familiar with the old style window shades, they were on a roller. You pull them down, kind of, and they lock in place, and they hang there. Kind of this heavy canvasy type material. They're fairly heavy and all. Anyways, I look over, and one of those shades is going shadunk, 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 and I'm thinking, crap. Here I am looking for a dog, and it's just the damn window shade rattling, Figured somebody left the window open. We had this big exhaust fan that was way up in the attic, and I mean big, it's huge, probably 5-foot blade or whatever. Didn't fly like a jet engine, but it turned, pretty decent speed. But like I say, it was huge. It would suck air through, every window in the house. So I figured somebody left the window open, in the dining room. For what reason, I have no idea, because we hadn't been in there in probably a week or so. So I go over, and I'm going to shut the window and lock it, and move the shade back, and the window's down, and it's locked, and like I say, it's old house. It's got those windows, big heavy wooden windows, with glass panes, and had those old-timey, slide around locks, and it was locked. And the locks they're pretty tight. I mean, you had to kind of push the window down and, hope that you got it locked good. And the same with unlocking them. They were pretty stiff, The window's sealed up pretty good, but I figured, well, there's got to be some draft or something, because the exhaust fan's on. There's air obviously coming in from somewhere. So I'm thinking, no big deal. Go ahead, I go eat my cereal, and by when I checked the window and everything and moved the shade and all, the window shade hung back down, didn't move again. I just figured, that's weird, whatever. It must be a draft somewhere. So I go on back in the living room, eat my cereal. Kind of the whole time, I could see through the French doors into the dining room, and sitting there, kind of watching TV, eating my cereal, kind of looking over every once in a while out of the corner of my eye. I'm looking at that damn window. Nothing's happening. Eating my cereal, watching TV, and I look over, just out of the corner of my eye again. I kind of glance over that way, and I see that window shade just go, shabam, just one time. So now I'm getting to the point where I'm a little freaked out. I'm like, okay, I got to go up and get my brother, my stepbrother. I'm going to see if I can freak him out with this, because it's obviously kind of strange. So I go up the stairs. I go in. I wake my stepbrother up. I'm like, dude, you got to come see this. I'm telling him about the window shade, blah, blah, blah. And I think I'm going to get him to come down there and check it out. He's like, let me sleep. I'm like, no, dude, get up. I'm messing with him. Finally, at this point, he's pissed. He's up. So we both go back downstairs. And as you walk down the stairs, or as you're heading to the stairs, just over to the left is a doorway that leads up to the attic. The creepy attic. And up in the attic is where the big exhaust fan was. It was right kind of up and around the corner that, if you're going up the steps to the attic, you actually walked under the big exhaust fan. So anyway, I'm telling him about the windowsill and all, and he's like, you dumbass, it's probably because the exhaust fan's pulling air through the windows, which is making the shade move, and he's like, you're an idiot. And on the way down the steps, we both look over to that attic doorway, and it was at that point that we both realized that the exhaust fan wasn't on. Nope, it wasn't on. So, whatever. We go downstairs, and he's still like, you're tripping, man. Goes in, walks in the dining room, looks around, nothing's happening. Walks over to the window. I'm like, dude, I swear this thing was moving, and I thought it was the exhaust fan, but now we both know the exhaust fan is off. The window's down, it's locked. And like I say, there's these wispy little drapes, curtains or whatever, kind of sheer, kind of off-white curtains. You could just go, and they would move. They weren't moving. There was no draft coming through the window that, we could find anywhere. And he's like, well, whatever, you're trying to freak me out. You're just making stuff up. And, later on in years when I would watch the X-Files, Mulder would see something happen, and he would tell Scully about it later, and she would be like, I don't know about that. I didn't see that. I don't believe you, basically. And as much crap as she did see, she would still always try to debunk, Mulder's experiences or whatever. That's what it reminded me of a lot of times. As much stuff as, we would see, we'd tell each other, and the other one was always like, oh, you're making it up. You're seeing things. So anyways, this was way before the X-Files, but it just reminds me of that later on in the years. I'm like, I know how he feels. Anyway, uh, we're in the dining room there, and he's giving me the old, the Scully rundown. And, I think there's a logical explanation, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever, dude. And we're standing there talking, and the window shade that was previously moving, that I thought was because of the wind, just goes, shoo, bam, it flies up probably 3 or 4 feet off the windowsill, almost straight out, and comes smacking back down. And I looked at him, he looked at me, we both looked at the window and the mysterious moving window shade, and we both promptly hauled ass out of there. At that point, like I said, it had me freaked out a little bit, but I figured there was a logical explanation for it. But at that point, I just felt, I don't know, this overwhelming sense of I needed to haul ass type of thing. It just felt really weird for some reason, and I just needed to, like Elvis, leave the building. Elvis has left the building. And I promptly left the building at that point. Never did figure it out, but I know even if the exhaust fan wasn't on, even if the wind's blowing, which it wasn't really, it was, like I say, 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever. It was nice, a perfectly nice day. It wasn't stormy or windy or anything. It was a nice, calm morning. Even if there was some wind blowing, it wouldn't make a shade, a heavy canvas shade with a wooden batten on the bottom. It wouldn't make it just go whoosh, bam, one time. It would move it, like was kind of happening in the beginning. If air was coming in the window, it would maybe move the shade a little bit. It wouldn't make it come out, like a foot or so each time and bang on the windowsill. And it certainly wouldn't make it just fly up, almost all the way out and come back just one time. Just wouldn't, it's not physically possible. So, how did I explain it? I don't. I explain it as Weird Wednesday story. It happened years ago, and I'm telling you about it now on Weird Wednesday. I don't know, not super creepy, but definitely a little freaky, and kind of creepy if you think about it. I know I thought about it, and still to this day do. But, like I say, things would happen, things would freak me out. Just another day, though. Continued to live in that house until I was 17, at which point I had had enough and went and got my own place on the beach. And my mom and stepdad still own the house. It's still sitting there. It's pretty empty right now. It's kind of run down. If I had the money, I would totally redo it and move back into that creepy son of a goat herding house, because I still like it. It's on an awesome piece of property, and I really wish that I had the money to totally redo it, but I don't. But I still think about coming up with ways to get it and do it. Because, yeah, I would still move back in that creepy old haunted house. That's just me. I can't say I wouldn't be freaked out at times. I can't say that I would go hang out in the attic a lot. But, I'm almost 50 years old, and there was a point where I did hang out in the attic a lot. Me and my stepbrother had a room up there that was our hangout room, was our room to, listen to music and do stuff that we, probably shouldn't have been doing. But we had some freaky things happen then, and that was in our brave phase of hanging out in the attic. And my brother, my actual real brother, used to have a dark room. He's 14 years older than me. He used to have a dark room set up in the attic up there, and he's had quite some trippy experiences as well, and some freaky experiences. Probably had some trippy experiences too of his own, but I don't know, man. I'm 50, or right about to turn 50 soon, and still to this day, I don't like going in the attic by myself over at that house. Uh, I have on occasion, but I really don't enjoy it. And if you say, Rob, go up to the attic and get this and that, I'm like I say, man, I'm about to turn 50, and I still, dude, seriously get the creeps up in that attic. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the whole thing to do with my dad, or if it's just the whole weird ass creepy thing about the attic, but I just don't have a good feeling in that attic anymore. So anyways, that's my Weird Wednesday story. I'm gonna go get some stuff done, and I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys have been having an awesome week. If you're still watching this 26-minute, almost 27-minute ramble video that I got going here, man, guys are awesome. If you made it this far, anyways, hope you're having a great week. Thanks for watching. Leave some comments below, and I want to hear some of you guys' creepy stories if you have any, or weird stories. Who knows? Weird can be anything. Weird can be, the other night I was at the gas station and there was a guy dancing naked at the gas pump. That's pretty damn weird, and it's actually pretty commonplace in the world these days to see stuff like that. So back in the day, it would have been really strange. Nowadays, who knows what you see and where you see it, man. People are strange, that's for sure. I think I'm weird. I think I'm a freak sometimes, and then I see stuff that other people do, and I'm like, damn, I'm actually kind of boring and normal. Anyways, that's all I got. Talk to you guys later. Adios, muchachos.